Monday, July the 19th, 2020, and once again I'm over in Ampthill, about to undertake a 12.5 mile circuit of another North Herts Ramblers group walk, this one being Marston Vale, home of Captain Sir Tom Moore. But I'm starting in Ampthill and walking clockwise, hoping to have lunch in Marston Moretaine, the church there, so who knows, might pass his house, I don't know. It's a cracking day for walking, nice and sunny at the minute, a bit of cloud dew this afternoon, but otherwise perfect temperature, low 20s. So let's crack on. I noticed a sign, unfortunately, as I was trying to find parking, indicating that Ampthill Park, which is where Catherine's Cross is closed today. Can you believe it? So I'll have to see if that interferes with my finale. Shouldn't interrupt the beginning, but it might affect the ending. Fingers crossed. It's around 12:30 now. Got about 5.5 hours of walking, so should be back for 6-ish, subject to Ampthill Park developments. This is the car park I was actually looking for, but missed, so I've parked on the street just below. Look how busy it is. I know today's the first day of school holidays, but this is just ridiculous. So here we are at Lake View, and third time lucky. Excuse the bump there. Third time lucky in the sense that it's not raining. Brilliant. Bit breezy, but as I say, it's a nice beneficial breeze today. That's the vale that we're headed to. Now this early part of the walk is the reverse of what I did on one of the SWC walks. So vaguely familiar terrain. Was 2 years back, I think. But as I say, it is a reverse version, so no problem. So you'll note at this juncture we're following the Greensand Ridge Walk, the Bunyan Trail and the Marston Vale Timberland Trail. So this North Herts Ramblers walk is actually called the Timberland Walk. I did wonder why, so now I know. Can't remember if that's an old railway line or the road that we've just walked over there, but there are air shafts marked on the map. Okay, a mile in, and I've passed 3 ramblers already, but let's hope from now on there aren't too many more on my way from the honeypot area, although they were genuine walkers, not part-time COVID types. Looking good so far on the Greensand Ridge. High point today is around 422 feet, the low one being about 115, so not quite the heights we were at Royston. Nonetheless, very pleasant thus far. So here we are, covering all angles, all bases, St. Michael and All Angels, Millbrook, which I have filmed before. I think it must have been the Lidlington walk, the SWC Lidlington walk. Difficult to get a good shot on this place. Anyway, it's not open, so can't go in. This church isn't officially on the GPX route, but I've deviated by a couple of 100 metres to incorporate it, as is my wont occasionally with churches. So I continued to walk the Lidlington walk in reverse, I believe. because I remember filming this, Millbrook, the vehicle testing station. And there is a car park down here, interestingly. Another very decent section of walking this. No one around, nice and quiet, including birdsong, you'll notice. And that's got nothing to do with the increase in humans again, just that time of year. Not sure what that is in the distance, not the wood pigeon, but something else calling. That. So here we go, yet another toadstool, and I know someone that can identify that for me. We're in, well, we're on Greensand at the moment, under pine trees, plenty of pine needles around. So where those ladies are sitting is where I previously filmed a good view of the Vale, but I noticed 2 of the 3 benches have now rotted away to nothing. And that was only 2 years ago that they were in good order. So NB Central Beds Council need updating. So at this juncture we leave the Bunyan Trail and the Greensand Ridge Walk and continue straight on following Marston Vale Timberland Trail, which clearly makes sense by the walk's title. So not that way, straight ahead. There. So as you can see underfoot, pleasantly spongy and still quite damp actually. Not sure when that rain fell, I don't recall any recently, but it is quite damp underfoot in here. Warning note of the wren, I believe. I've heard plenty of warning notes today, but not much else. Nuthatch as well, I think. As you can see, this has recently been maintained. The verge has been cut, but in a pleasant, nature-friendly way, I would say. Very good central beds. So as you can see, even in the height of summer, it's quite muddy down here. And I do recall in the winter, when I did this, I think, it was a quagmire. Wonderful walking at the moment. Lovely mixed forest here. Could almost be in the Peak District. Delightful. There's also some pretty steep hills like the Peak District as well. Good workout this one. Good view over Lidlington Vehicle Testing Centre here, into the Vale beyond. Not sure what these are, green gauges. Anyway, they've come off the tree early because some idiot has been pulling at it ahead of time. There's a lot of that going on during COVID at the moment, I notice as well. So although we are due for a pretty abundant crop this year, so I hear, cherries, etc, etc, this doesn't help. Just don't understand why people have to tug at branches like that. The bounty is, of course, meant more for wildlife than us. And if it's on the floor, too ripe, they can't benefit from it either. Anyway, on that thought, another steep descent here. Pretty good view across the plain here. That sounds like a robin in behind me. Warning note again. Amazing, I think there's a lot more housing popped up in the intervening 2 years. Now entering Lidlington, which is where I started the SWC walk, because it has a railway station. Very good to see. All 3 of those boxes, as you can hear, have got young swifts in them. Now that's all it takes. A bit of human kindness and the swifts are safeguarded. Now they're obviously ornithologists because they've got an owl box there as well. Wonder if that's occupied with the swifts above it. Brilliant. Seems like there's a lot of it round this way. Nature friendly. Good to see. My first train crossing for a little while. Railway line crossing even. Last one I did was about a month ago when I did the Sandy walk. 2 months back actually. Maybe longer. And as you can see just down the line there is Lidlington Station, which is not much more than a halt really. Now if I remember correctly they're going to use this track bed for the Oxford-Cambridge link, I do believe. Getting out into more agricultural country now, a bit more variety to the walk. The high woodlands behind me. I think we've probably done the high part of the walk now. I mean, it's in the name of the walk, isn't it? Vale. There in the distance, around a mile away I think, is the church at Marston Moretaine, where I intend having my respite. It's just gone 2. Don't know if that's a dragonfly or a darter, or whatever you call them. Would indicate we're not far from water though. Again, being in the vale. The wings are almost transparent. Wonderful. One final look back at the high ground that we've left behind, for now anyway. Obviously I've got to get back up there to get back to the parking at some point. Oh, glorious afternoon, a bit breezy as you can possibly hear, but that's good when you're walking. Just walk through, for variety, just walk through a field of broad beans. Now clearly when these are picked and we're back in the muddy winter months, this could be a bit of a trudge, these fields. And now we've got a blue variant. It's interesting because as I walk along and they try to settle, so they have to get up and go another 6 or 7 foot ahead of me, and then 3 or 4 more join. There's about 3 or 4 on the ground in front of me at the moment. Lovely to see. In fact, let's do one more silhouette of the skyline before I go through the hedge and almost arrive at the church. Wonderful. And as you can see, there are breaks in the cloud sufficient to allow the sun through. Some kind of ruin here. Footpath goes right over it. House or something. So as with last week, we've got a slight deviation off the main walk across a footbridge into the churchyard. Excellent. Well, I never seen a notice like that before. Let's hope they've gone. Well, that's unusual. There's the tower. Loads of swifts up there by the sound of it. Where's the church though? There's my lunchtime stop for the day. There are a couple of benches around. The others are in the shade, mind. But this is unusual. There's the tower and there's the church. Wonderful. Never seen anything like that before. That's one for Google. We'll get the name of this place shortly after lunch. So it's around 2:45, 5.5 miles into the walk, so just a tad under halfway round. But this is a good position to have lunch if you're not into the pubs, and I'm not even sure there's one here, but I'm sure there would be. Anyway, lunch is served. Right, 3:15, recharged, refueled, ready to go. Thanks to Martin and Maisie there. So it's yet another St Mary, but most unusual with a separate tower like that. So St Mary, Marston. Most unusual arrangement. Even this extension to the rear is unusual. Anyway, I don't intend going in because it's being cleaned. No doubt this is where Captain Sir Tom will be buried in the future. Long may he live though. The way that door's been bricked up. Got an air extractors and water pipes coming out of it. Very odd church. Anyway, no bees seen today. Must be an old notice that. Parting shot of St Mary's. As it gets a bit cloudier now, the breaks in the sky are less, as forecast. Now in the Millennium Country Park. 1k to Millbrook station. I do a left here. Pretty easy walking underfoot, as you can see. Probably have to beware of cyclists though. Just passing Marston Meadow. I was wondering why these verges had been cut, but clearly that's part of the meadow management, so I'm assuming they know what they're doing. This would appear to be what you call a honey pot. Lots of people about, so not sure I'm going to like this. Not far from Bedford, high on COVID figures at the minute. So this would be where the walk starts, for those that are following the GPX exactly. This car park around this area, £1 an hour, £2 for 3 hours, £5 for all day. So we're now in the Millennium Country Park, headed left here I believe, Jubilee Walk. Wonderful teasels. It's interesting, a common denominator here with the thistle, which the goldfinch loves as well, is the colour. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. Just turning as well, soon be in their autumnal brown state. Excellent use of a brownfield site here. I believe all the pits have been filled in with water, former brickworks, and all the brownfield sites are now being built on for housing, which is fantastic if that is the case. I'm only citing that from memory. Google will tell you more, but what a wonderful way to use an old brownfield site, eh? That's how it should be done. Don't need to encroach on our green fields. Especially as the ONS figures last week, the new ones, showed they've got the predictions for housing demand 50% wrong. Outrageous. So builders are now whacking up housing that we're probably not going to need if we're not careful. They certainly need to stop any more building. So another issue, COVID aside, the lake I filmed is called Stuartby Lake, by the way. Just there. Gives you a bit of background here to the dating of this place. 2000. So you can't even come to a lake without finding these stupid balloons in it. Plastic. Absolute idiots. They all come out to enjoy the countryside and yet they pollute it. Just don't understand why they're not seeing the connection. Got busy A road behind me, believe it or not. And as you can see in the murky depths, little reminders there of this place's past. Marston bricks. Chimneys over there on my left from brickworks past or possibly present, I'm unsure. Don't think bricks are still made up here, they might be. Anyway, the chimneys remain. Wonderful flowers and meadow bits to the side. Monster wind turbine over there. Passing Stuartby Water Sports Club on my right, and shortly to cross over the railway line. Stuartby, which is one of those split stations, one platform over there and one behind me, a bit like the ones you get down in Surrey on the Gomshall line. So as you can see, serving Bletchley, Bedford, Marston Vale line, well, in fact now operated by London North Western. Bit of a small issue there in the sense that the route on the GPX is currently fenced off, so you have to continue on past the fencing and do a right in the hedge, gets you back onto this track, i.e. the GPX route. That's the area known as Green Crossing on the 125,000 map. Got some strange municipal looking sort of bungalows on my left here. Probably the homes of former brickworkers. Now walking alongside what I believe to be the Euston line. Now passing under said line, still on the Marston Vale Trail. And in fact, thinking about it, that rail line is probably St Pancras to Bedford, because the bridge strike warning notice gave this bridge as Bedford. So that solves that mystery. Come out of pretty decent terrain again. There will be a little bit of repetition soon with Houghton House back on the scene where we walked 2 weeks ago, I think it was. But hey ho. Well, just past my first walker of the day after those 3 ramblers earlier on. So pretty good. Now I mentioned Houghton House, and there's the ruins up on the hill. See the heat haze as well? Well, I can. Bedfordshire's yellow topped finger posts just to my right there. That is my onward journey to the left, not that one immediately, what, about 50 yards after, nor following the hedge straight on. There's the farm buildings, just to put it all into perspective. Obviously in the winter months, or when the corn's cut, will be a whole heap trickier. I'm looking at the heads of these wheat plants, and they are not good quality at all. This is what I'm hearing. It's going to be a very poor yield this year. Maybe that's why it's not been cut yet. Waiting for it to plump up a bit. But it does look poorly. Harvest is well underway, by the way, now. I've seen a number of combines out during the week. Talking of which, their class is still in the yard over there, awaiting service. One good thing about Bedfordshire walks is that there's not that many cows around. So mainly cereals and agricultural crops. Passing Field Farm on the map with a big new development, barn conversion being built at the back. Interesting to see the house from down below when we were up there only a few weeks before. Another warning note in the background. I think it's the corn bunting. We will be entering Kingswood shortly, but this is now the local nature reserve of Kingswood and Glebe Meadows. Google that if you wish to know more. Now entering Kingswood. Another lovely way to almost finish off the walk. Decent section of woodland walking. Mixed woodland, untouched by the looks of it for a long time. Silent. apart from the occasional wren warning note. So last time I did this walk in the other direction for the SWC walk, I didn't go in here. There was the option to, but now I've done it anyway. Excellent, lovely little bit of woodland reserve that. And this is a new kissing gate since I was last here. I think we go right to the other side of it. Quite a vista. It's Chiltern Ridge over there. Wonderful view of the plain whence I've come. The old lake. It's 6:15 now, so I'm running a bit behind schedule. Get a better view of it here. Now I wonder if that new building that I was mentioning a couple of weeks back there is a new railway station. Can't remember. Parting shot of Houghton House. I think it was raining a couple of weeks ago when I tried to do it. Information panel here from English Heritage on Houghton House. What's left of it. Amazing, 6:15. This car park's still rammed. So here we are, 13.5 miles I recorded, and 5 3/4 hours later. Very good walk that, as you'll be able to see, or as you have seen. Lots of variety, good underfoot today, but some long field crossings in winter, if you do it in those shorter days, that could cause some issues underfoot. Otherwise though, another excellent outing from the North Herts Ramblers group. I don't remember the number, but that's known as their Timber Trail walk. All the details will be on a tight little walk anyway when I get there. So, wonderful days walking again. Boris has opened up the railways for non-essential trips now, but I'm not in any rush to start getting on the trains and doing SWC walks just yet. Maybe when the school holidays are finished, because I think those honeypot areas, which they invariably will be, won't be worth the journey. So I'll do a few more North Herts Ramblers ones, see how we go. Till then,